Purple Heart BTS Jungkook, V, Jimin, Jin, Room, J-Hope&Suga shock ARMY at Baltimore concert. Fearful face. Baltimore suddenly became one of the biggest destinations on the BTS calendar as ARMY gathered for the group's highly anticipated ARIRANG World Tour shows at M&T Bank Stadium. The atmosphere surrounding the city had already been building for days, with fans traveling in from different places and preparing to experience something that many had been waiting years to see again: all 7 members of BTS standing together on a major American stage. Room, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook are once again appearing as a complete group during this world tour, making every stop feel much bigger than an ordinary concert. What made the Baltimore stop especially interesting was the timing. The group arrived in the United States as part of a massive international tour that has already created enormous attention across North America. Baltimore was not simply another dot on the tour map. It represented a historic moment because BTS was scheduled to perform there for the first time, bringing thousands of ARMY together in Maryland for a celebration that had been anticipated long before the stadium lights came on. For many fans, the emotional weight of seeing all 7 members together is difficult to explain in ordinary words. BTS spent years building their individual careers, completing their mandatory military service, releasing solo music, and continuing to grow as artists. Their return as 7 has therefore carried a completely different emotional meaning. The Baltimore concerts became another opportunity for fans to see that reunion happening in real time, rather than simply watching old performances or remembering previous tours. And then there was the crowd. Before the concert even began, Baltimore was already filled with the unmistakable presence of ARMY. Purple colors, BTS merchandise, fan-made signs, photographs, conversations, and excited groups of people created an atmosphere that made it obvious something extraordinary was happening. Local attention around the concerts became so significant that businesses in the city were preparing special BTS-themed offerings for visiting fans, while reports described the Baltimore stop as capable of bringing an enormous number of fans into the area. The excitement was not limited to people sitting inside the stadium. The entire surrounding area became part of the BTS experience. Fans arrived early, met other ARMY, exchanged freebies, took pictures, shared their outfits, and talked about what they hoped to see from the 7 members. For some people, the most memorable part of the day was not even a particular song. It was the feeling of being surrounded by thousands of people who understood exactly why the moment mattered. That is one of the most fascinating things about BTS concerts. The show begins long before the first note is played. There is a unique anticipation that develops when fans know they are about to see all 7 members after such a long period of separation. Every sound coming from the stadium can create a reaction. Every movement backstage becomes a subject of conversation. Every glimpse of the stage can make the crowd louder. And when the lights finally begin to change, that anticipation transforms into something much bigger. For Jungkook, the Baltimore appearance carries another layer of excitement because his return to the group stage has been closely followed by fans around the world. His powerful performance style, confidence, and ability to connect with huge audiences have always made him one of the most watched members during BTS concerts. Seeing him once again performing alongside the other 6 members gives ARMY a reminder of how different the group feels when all 7 individual personalities are combined. Then there is V, whose presence can completely change the atmosphere of a stadium. Whether he is performing with intense concentration or simply sharing a playful moment with the other members, V has a distinctive way of attracting attention. Fans have followed his artistic evolution closely, and his return to full group performances adds another emotional dimension to the ARIRANG era. Jimin brings an entirely different energy. His stage presence has always been connected to precision, emotion, and movement, and his solo work has allowed fans to see another side of his artistry. But when he returns to the BTS formation, that individuality becomes part of a larger picture. The contrast between Jimin's solo identity and his role within the 7-member group is one of the reasons his performances continue to fascinate ARMY. Jin, meanwhile, has his own unmistakable place in the group dynamic. His humor, confidence, and ability to create memorable moments have made him an important part of BTS both on and off stage. After his own solo activities and years of personal growth, seeing Jin standing with the members again carries a nostalgic feeling for longtime fans. It is almost as if different chapters of BTS history suddenly meet in the same moment. Room adds another important layer to the group. As the leader, his role has never been limited to performing. His way of speaking about BTS, music, creativity, and the relationship between the members and ARMY has often given fans a deeper understanding of the group. During a major reunion tour, his presence naturally becomes part of the larger story of how BTS has changed while still remaining BTS. J-Hope brings his unmistakable performance energy. His dance ability, rhythm, facial expressions, and enthusiasm have always made him one of the members capable of instantly raising the energy of a stadium. After his solo projects and individual performances, watching him return to a 7-member formation creates a special contrast. His individuality is still visible, but now it is surrounded by the chemistry of the complete group. And Suga represents another essential part of the BTS identity. Known for his songwriting, production, rap, and distinctive artistic perspective, Suga has developed an identity that extends far beyond the traditional image of a pop performer. His presence in the reunited group reminds fans that BTS has always been built from 7 very different artistic personalities rather than 7 identical performers. That difference between the members may actually be one of the biggest reasons the reunion feels so powerful. Jungkook is different from V. V is different from Jimin. Jimin is different from Jin. Jin is different from Room. Room is different from J-Hope. J-Hope is different from Suga. Yet somehow, when those 7 personalities come together, they create something that none of them could create alone. That chemistry is what ARMY has been waiting to see again. The Baltimore concerts also arrived during a particularly important period for BTS because the ARIRANG World Tour represents the group's return to major-scale live performances following their military service period. The tour has already been described as a massive global undertaking, with North American, European, Asian, and other international stops forming part of a much larger schedule. That scale makes every city part of a bigger story. Baltimore is one chapter, but it is a chapter that has its own identity. The city welcomed fans from outside Maryland, creating an atmosphere that extended beyond the stadium itself. For many ARMY, traveling to Baltimore was not simply a trip to see a concert. It was a chance to become part of the first BTS performance experience in the city. And that first-time feeling matters. There are fans who have followed BTS since the early years and fans who discovered them much later. There are people who watched the group's growth through countless videos and performances, people who experienced their solo eras, and people who waited through the long period when seeing all 7 together on stage was impossible. All of those stories converged in Baltimore. Imagine the moment when the stadium lights begin to disappear and thousands of light sticks become visible across the crowd. The noise rises gradually, then suddenly becomes overwhelming. Fans realize the show is about to begin, and the atmosphere changes from anticipation to disbelief. That moment is powerful because everyone knows what it represents. 7 members, 1 stage, 1 audience, 1 long-awaited reunion. The emotional reaction to such a moment cannot simply be measured by the volume of the cheering. For many ARMY, it represents years of memories. Old songs, old performances, old jokes, old interviews, and countless personal moments connected to BTS suddenly become part of the present. That is why the ARIRANG era feels different. This is not simply BTS returning to perform songs. It is BTS returning after a major chapter in their lives. Each member has experienced changes during the years apart, and those changes naturally become part of the group's new identity. The members have grown individually, but their chemistry remains one of the defining features of BTS. That chemistry can appear in tiny moments. A glance between 2 members. A laugh after something unexpected happens. A member reacting to another member's performance. A playful interaction between songs. These moments may last only seconds, but ARMY often remembers them for years. Those are the moments that can make a concert feel personal even when tens of thousands of people are watching. Baltimore also demonstrated how powerful the BTS fan community remains. Reports ahead of the concerts described huge numbers of ARMY preparing to descend on the city, while local businesses and communities responded to the influx of visitors. For a city, hosting a concert of this scale can become an event far beyond music. Hotels, restaurants, transportation, local businesses, fan gatherings, and social media activity all become connected to the concert. The result is almost like a temporary BTS ecosystem surrounding the stadium. And ARMY knows how to turn that environment into something memorable. Fans create their own traditions. They share gifts. They photograph one another. They trade stories. They celebrate birthdays and favorite members. They wear outfits inspired by BTS eras. They bring banners and carefully prepared fan projects. None of those things are officially required for the concert to feel special. They happen naturally because the fan community has created its own culture around BTS. That culture was especially visible in Baltimore. Online discussions from ARMY around the Baltimore shows reflected excitement about everything from merchandise and fan activities to concert day preparations and expectations. Of course, live concerts never unfold exactly the way people imagine beforehand. Weather, schedules, production decisions, and other unexpected circumstances can affect the experience. The Baltimore stop itself even faced weather-related complications around the first show, showing how unpredictable a major outdoor stadium event can become. But that unpredictability can become part of the memory. Years from now, fans may not remember every detail of the set list or every transition between performances. They may remember standing outside with other ARMY. They may remember the weather. They may remember the sound of the crowd. They may remember how nervous and excited they felt before the opening. Most importantly, they may remember the moment they realized BTS was really back. The return of all 7 members also creates a fascinating comparison between the past and present. BTS is no longer exactly the same group that left the stage years ago. Each member has experienced new challenges, new artistic directions, new responsibilities, and new forms of success. Their solo careers have expanded their identities, and their individual experiences have given them more perspectives to bring back to the group. Yet the central connection remains. That is perhaps the biggest surprise of the ARIRANG era. The members can grow individually without losing the chemistry that made BTS special. Jungkook can continue developing as a solo artist while still being Jungkook of BTS. V can explore his own artistic identity while remaining an essential part of the group. Jimin can build his solo career while still fitting naturally into the 7-member formation. Jin can continue exploring his own style while bringing his humor and personality back into the group. Room can continue his artistic and intellectual pursuits while guiding BTS. J-Hope can continue pushing performance boundaries while energizing the group. Suga can continue his work as a producer and artist while contributing his unique perspective to BTS. That combination is what makes a reunion more than nostalgia. It becomes evolution, and Baltimore became one of the places where fans could witness that evolution. There is also something symbolic about the fact that BTS is now performing in cities where some fans may never have imagined seeing them before. The global reach has expanded dramatically over the years, and the ARIRANG Tour demonstrates just how far the group's audience has grown. For American ARMY, the Baltimore stop represents another milestone. For international fans watching from home, it becomes another opportunity to experience the reunion through clips, photographs, live stream discussions, and fan reactions. And for BTS themselves, every concert is another chance to reconnect with the audience that waited for them. That relationship between BTS and ARMY has always been unusual in scale. It is not simply performer and audience. The history is much longer. There are fans who discovered BTS during difficult periods of their own lives. There are fans who grew up with their music. There are fans who found friendships through the fandom. There are people who associate specific BTS songs with specific years, memories, places, and personal milestones. So when the 7 members return to the stage, fans are not simply watching a concert. They are revisiting a part of their own history. That is why reactions can become so emotional. A single image of all 7 members together can trigger years of memories. A familiar formation can remind fans of an older era. A laugh between members can feel like a return to something familiar after a long absence. Baltimore therefore becomes more than a concert location. It becomes another chapter in the story of BTS and ARMY. And perhaps the most exciting part is that the story is still unfolding. The ARIRANG World Tour continues beyond Baltimore, moving through additional major cities and bringing the 7-member group to audiences across the world. That means the Baltimore shows are not the ending. They are part of a much bigger comeback journey. For fans, that creates another reason to pay attention to every performance. Every city can produce a different atmosphere. Every audience reacts differently. Every member may have a different interaction. Every concert can create a new memory. And that is exactly why BTS concerts continue to generate such enormous online discussion. One unexpected expression can become a viral photograph. One funny interaction can become a fandom-wide conversation. One emotional moment can dominate social media. One performance can become the clip everyone talks about the next morning. The possibilities are endless because live performances are unpredictable. The Baltimore stage therefore carried a special kind of tension. Everyone knew that something historic was happening, but nobody could know exactly which moments would become unforgettable. That uncertainty is part of the magic. ARMY came expecting a major BTS concert. They left with memories, and somewhere between those two moments, the stadium became a place where years of waiting, anticipation, individual growth, and group history all collided. The 7 members were once again sharing the same stage. Room, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, Jungkook. 7 names that have become globally recognizable, but 7 individuals who still bring completely different colors to the same group. That is the real story behind the Baltimore excitement. It is not only about how loud the crowd became. It is not only about the scale of the stadium. It is not only about the ARIRANG Tour. It is about the fact that after years of change, BTS can still create that unmistakable feeling when all 7 members appear together. And for ARMY, that may be the biggest shock of all. The world changed. The members changed. Their careers changed. The music industry changed. But the moment BTS becomes 7 again, something familiar returns. The excitement returns. The anticipation returns, the purple lights return, and the connection between BTS and ARMY once again becomes impossible to ignore. Baltimore has now become another important location in that story, a place where fans gathered from different backgrounds and different parts of the world for one shared reason, to experience BTS together again. The ARIRANG era is still moving forward, and every new concert adds another piece to the bigger picture. But the Baltimore chapter will remain special because it represents a first for the city and another major moment in BTS's return to the global stage. Perhaps years from now, fans will look back at photographs from Baltimore and remember exactly how it felt to see the 7 members together again. They will remember the lights. They will remember the crowd. They will remember the anticipation. They will remember the laughter. They will remember the feeling of hearing thousands of voices become one. And most importantly, they will remember that BTS came back as 7. For ARMY, that simple fact carries an enormous amount of emotion. Because after everything that happened during the years apart, the 7-member BTS is once again standing together in front of the world. And Baltimore was there to witness it. The story does not end with one concert. If anything, it feels like the beginning of another era. An era where 7 individual journeys finally meet again. An era where old memories and new ambitions exist side by side. An era where BTS is not simply returning to what they were, but showing the world what they have become. And as the ARIRANG World Tour continues from city to city, one question remains at the center of every ARMY conversation: what unforgettable moment will BTS create next? Because if Baltimore has shown anything, it is that when Room, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook stand together, the world is watching. And ARMY is ready.